I don't even fully identify what the Democratic Party is anymore. It's not recognizable to me.
I'm kind of rethinking my thinking, and I do think that maybe it's time for the Democrats to do a little bit of this postmortem. I intend myself, what little I can do, to try to do that more.
Welcome back to All-Star Buzz. Thank you for joining us, and let's begin. I never thought I'd see the day. The View actually admitting defeat for the first time in history. I mean, let's break this down. Whoopi Goldberg is saying it's wrong and divisive to judge your neighbors based on their political beliefs. Sunny Holston is admitting that the Democrats and herself need to take a long, hard look in the mirror to figure out where they went wrong. And the entire panel is agreeing that it's downright strange how the Biden administration isn't being transparent about the drone situation. Wild, right? But let's start with Sunny Holston's shocking moment of self-awareness, because I know this is what everyone's been waiting for. Watch this.
But then I'm kind of rethinking my thinking, and I do think that maybe it's time for the Democrats to do a little bit of this postmortem, because the Democratic Party has always been the party of the working class. Has always been. If you look at all the policies, they're for the people. And I think even myself, as someone who grew up in abject poverty from the Bronx, my parents lived paycheck to paycheck. They had to decide whether or not they were going to feed me or whether or not we were going to have heat. And I remember that. And I think I missed the boat in terms of realizing that there are so many Americans that still have that experience that I grew up with and that members of my family grew up with. And so it is up to those of us who remember how that feels or who cares about that to reach out and say, come back, we can help you. And I intend myself, what little I can do, to try to do that more.
Can we all just take a second to appreciate this? Hit that like button, because I never thought I'd live to see the day Sunny Holston admits defeat like this. Do you remember the video I posted a few days ago, where a Democrat senator came on The View and completely dismantled their entire worldview in one segment? Well, it looks like his message actually got through. Now, Sunny's saying the quiet part out loud. But wait, it gets better. Let's watch Sarah Haynes say she doesn't even recognize the Democrat Party anymore. And then Alyssa drops the mic, telling the panel, nobody gave a damn about Trump being a convicted felon. Watch this.
In the article, he quotes, I forgot the exact quote, but he said something about how it's become the party of college professors and, you know, like it's this removed group of highly educated. And I think the conversations around that, because the people on the other side were voting for Donald Trump, oftentimes those voters were kind of put in a bucket of not being smart and spoken down to. So I think it's a strange thing, because I don't even fully identify what the Democratic Party is anymore. It's not recognizable to me.
I do think it was trade deals feeling like America's being taken advantage of, and it affects the jobs that are largely working class and more industrial based, agriculture driven. And it was the border. It's not because they're like, oh, I'm nervous that somebody's going to come take my job. It's they know that big corporations take advantage of cheap labor, and those people are going to get employed while they're struggling to make ends meet. And I just want to say one thing, because Fetterman said something so interesting on the show we never discussed. I've used the term, Donald Trump's a convicted felon. I can't support that. But I think a lot of this country feels like we put people in a box if they're a convicted felon, even if they served their time, they paid their debt to society.
And we think it's got to be gone now.
And we think that they shouldn't be able to get ahead. And I actually think that backfired for Democrats. I think that people didn't like the name calling.
And you know why nobody cares about Trump's felony conviction? Because we all know those charges were bogus from the start. If you actually read the details of how those indictments came together, it's clear this was a political hit job. Unreal. It's like they twisted every part of the law to make it fit, ignoring statutes of limitations, dragging federal prosecutors into a state case. It's bizarre. They bent over backward, jumped through every hoop, and broke every rule just to prosecute Donald Trump. Let's be real. He was 100,000% selectively prosecuted, just like Hunter Biden was given a pass because of who his dad is. Think about it. Hunter Biden wouldn't have faced the same charges if he weren't Joe Biden's son. But the same goes for Trump. He wouldn't have been targeted if he weren't Trump. That's why I'm glad Joe Biden openly admitted it, because now the double standard is out in the open. You can't defend one and ignore the other. It's hypocrisy at its finest. Now, let's talk about the drones flying over New York and New Jersey. Everyone's freaking out, wondering what's going on. Why isn't the government being transparent? And how can they claim they have no idea where these drones are coming from or what they're doing? Even the View panel agrees. This is weird. Watch this.
Now, they say that. They say, if we find out something, we'll let you know. But I don't know if they will.
I absolutely think the government knows what's going on. I don't hate that they're not telling us, because I actually think my theory is, and this is not educated or academic, is that they are testing technology for a time when we could need it. And I actually, because when you think about it, drones, these
That's
are
very doomsday, Sarah.
Well, they can go up to like $1 million. These drones are not cheap.
Yeah.
So someone with a lot of
They're
money.
not the Christmas gift drones?
No. Those are not. But I think that they can do infrared. They can do a lot of things looking down, and I think they might be scanning and testing things. And I don't want them telling us, because then they tell the world.
So it is very likely that there is a plausible explanation, and my guess would be it's like a defense contractor that's authorized by the government to do it. But the answering and the explanations is driving me nuts. So you have Mayorkas saying, we're on it. Well, what are you on? Because you can't tell us what it is. Chuck Schumer saying you shouldn't have to shake an 8-ball for an answer. And then the joint FBI and DHS statement saying there's no evidence of a security risk at this time. That's doing a lot of work at this time. People are a little bit, it's a little eerie looking.
Yes, it's strange. Beyond strange. The U.S. military is the largest, most well-funded, and technologically advanced force in human history. And they're telling us they don't know where these drones are from or what they're doing? That's either a massive flaw in our military capabilities, or the government is flat out lying to us. Either way, we should all be extremely concerned. This isn't normal. Now, there's a video circulating on Twitter that Joe Rogan even quote-tweeted, and it's the most plausible explanation for what's going on. Apparently, a nuclear warhead went missing, and according to credible sources, it's either on its way or already here in the United States. Terrifying, right? A lot of people believe these drones are searching for evidence of this missing warhead. If that's true, every single one of us should be worried. I retweeted it on X, so follow me there if you want to check it out. But here's the real shocker. Whoopi Goldberg just made the most unexpected admission of defeat. She's talking about a new app that lets homebuyers check the political affiliations of their potential neighbors. And guess what? Whoopi actually disagrees with it, calling it divisive. And she's right. Watch this.
So if you're house hunting, apparently there's new tech startup platform that tells you the political affiliations of your potential new neighbors. Well, I guess some real estate professionals believe that this could influence buyers more than the conditions of the home. And I think that is not a good idea, because number one, it's none of your business. And number two, it just fosters more division.
Yes. And to pretend that our divisions are just political is the best part, because jerks come in every political affiliation.
Wow. What a complete 180 from her usual don't celebrate holidays with family who disagree with you politically stance. Now she's saying, it doesn't matter what your neighbors believe. They can still be good people. I don't know if they spiked the coffee with vodka today, but this is wild. I had to share this with you because I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm 100% sure they'll go back to their usual ridiculous, nonsensical, and delusional takes tomorrow. But for today, I'll give credit where it's due. The ladies of The View actually admitted defeat and came to their senses, at least for 30 minutes. Unbelievable. While the ladies of The View are leaving everyone speechless, MSNBC is taking the exact opposite approach. Watch morning.
Progressives should defend Biden's legacy to protect their future. And EJ writes in part this: the trickiest problem for Democrats and progressives in the coming months will not be finding a new electoral strategy. A far more pressing imperative is to prevent Donald Trump's victory from discrediting Biden's genuinely impressive accomplishments and the course he set for the country, which was broadly correct. The truth about the Biden economy should not be lost in the mire of political defeat and messaging failure. It's a reality that will make it much easier to defend his domestic policy legacy. Defending this legacy is vital to battling against a sharp rightward turn in economic policy. Nicole Hemmer, a history professor at Vanderbilt University, argues this defense is equally important to preventing resignation from the left. One close election, she says, should not be misinterpreted as a mandate for abandoning pro-worker and pro-union approaches or a strong industrial policy. How Biden's term is remembered is not just about him, it's about the future.
So this idea that, everybody's fighting everybody right now, and everybody's screaming, and everybody's looking at Joe Biden as a failure, when the fact is, you just said it, unemployment, long-term unemployment, lower than any time in 40 years. As you said, black unemployment, lower than it's been in a generation. The U.S. dollar, stronger than it's been in 50 years over the Biden term.
Joe suggests that if Democrats want to win future elections, they need to double down on promoting Joe Biden's legacy and talking about how great of a president he was. Seriously? Let me get this straight. They want to use the same strategy Kamala Harris tried. The Biden economy is amazing. Biden's policies are perfect. He might be the best president ever. And they think this losing strategy, which clearly failed, will somehow work in the long run? They're terrified that if they don't hype up Biden's so-called accomplishments, even more people will abandon the left for the right. But here's the thing. Repeating the same failed arguments from a few months ago isn't going to magically win back voters or restore confidence in the party. It's delusional. Every piece of legislation they call a Biden accomplishment is just another spending bill that fueled inflation and made life unaffordable for everyday Americans. And then Joe Scarborough has the nerve to claim the dollar is the strongest it's been in 50 years, after Biden printed so much money that 40% of all dollars in circulation were created in the last couple of years. Give me a break! That might be the most blatantly false statement I've ever heard anyone make. Joe Biden's legacy was already in shambles before he pardoned his son, and that just made it worse. It proved to everyone that he's the type of person who puts his own interests above the nation, the rule of law, and the integrity of our institutions. The only thing he had left after his disastrous presidency was this fake image of being a nice old guy. And even that's gone now. But let me know what you think in the comments below about The View admitting defeat. I still can't believe it. And I'm sure you can't either. I'm fully expecting them to come back tomorrow with some ludicrous, over-the-top take that'll make me regret giving them any credit at all. That's just how they roll. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. See you in the next one!